How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this Ohio State University event, the culture war put on by Turning Point USA that went totally off the rails at the very end during the Q&A section. Now, there's a whole lot to quote-unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say, but first, I got to give you a little bit of context so you understand what's going on, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the whole situation and what will happen most likely going forward. Now, of course, Turning Point USA, in my opinion, they're a great organization. Yes, I do know them. Yes, I have been to some of their events. But from what I've seen, they're great people. Charlie Kirk I've met, Rob Smith I met, and these are the two individuals who are going to be the subject of the video as far as what happened at Ohio State University. Now, at the end of the event, they did a Q&A, and they got a lot of crazy questions from the audience. And before I even get into the questions, I guess the purpose of the Culture War event is to present ideas from the right that would attack some of the crazy falsehoods from the left, and also to affirm conservatism in a more modern way. It's not so much, old guy, pocket protector, tie, going door to door. It's a modern marketing strategy for the values that we all enjoy in Western society. We don't have Sharia law over here. You're not going to get stoned to death for engaging in adultery. You won't get thrown from a building and killed because you're gay. We don't live in that kind of world. But I digress. To get back to the Q&A at the end of the event, there were quite a few trolls that popped up asking questions about sex positions and dancing Israelis, just stuff that you would see like in comment sections that I get sometimes. People are being racist or whatever. The troll comments you get, it was like that, but in real life. Now, Rob, I think, answered the questions pretty well. Charlie did as well. One thing Rob was saying is like, hey, we live in America. It's the best country on earth. It doesn't matter what you are, as long as you are for the advancement of society, for these policies we have, to not have the border be wide open, to have freedom in this country to say what you want, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. These things make us a great country. I thought he answered the questions pretty well, but some people think that he did not answer the questions pretty well, and some think that the questions that were asked from the trolls were perfectly fine. There was one guy, I forget his name, but if you know, let me know in the comments. He was trying to get into Politicon, and he was most likely going to ask those same questions because those people came from him. Like Nick Fuentes, that was him. Nick Fuentes tried to get into Politicon. They didn't want him in there. He was not allowed in. And a lot of his people went to the Ohio State event and did what I think Nick Fuentes would have done at Politicon if he were given the chance to do so. The questions are really fruitless. People on Twitter trolling me, talking about, oh, we got to get down to the heart of it. Well, what are we really trying to do here? Are we trying to exclude gays from the conservative movement? And who are we to exclude anybody from any movement? Like, what gatekeeper is going to be there to say, hey, you can't be here? I don't agree with Nick Fuentes and his particular view, but I don't say that he should get silenced or barred from being able to say it. So how are you going to come in and say that if you're gay, you can't be in the movement? If you are a black person married to a white person, you can't be in the movement? I mean, how are you going to say that? And beyond that, people like that, all they're really doing is making those of us on the right, just regular everyday people that don't get involved with the extremes on either side, they make us look bad. The news will come out and say, oh, these people were talking about all these racist, homophobic, etc. things. This must be the conservative movement in general. It makes all of us look bad. And to get back to the whole exclusion thing, if you're going to have this so-called Christian traditional lifestyle where you got to be, straight, white, Christian, you're going to have a very small pool of people to actually work with and get anything done. You will not be able to get anything done with that amount of people. I'm not saying that there is a shortage of straight white Christians. The problem is, if that's going to be your only block, you got to have not only those people in there, but also those that will agree with that kind of ideology, to not have anybody included. People that in effect are racist, which most people in general, regardless of color, are not. So you're not really going to be able to get anything done. You're going to have a very small pool of people. If at best you'll have conservative fractured. With that happening, the left will be the dominant group and they'll be able to just do whatever they want. If you don't have people that are gay, people that are recent immigrants legally, if you don't have people that are in interracial relationships, if you don't have them on board and helping with the cause, then, I mean, all you're going to do is just sit back and watch all of what you want, all of your quote unquote values just get obliterated by the left. You're going to get your head beat in every day because you have no allies. I don't understand the purpose of people coming to troll these events. I feel like they think their ideology should be front and center rather than what Turning Point represents, which is more inclusion and becoming more modern. Turning Point has a lot of young people, and what worked for the older generation will not work with the young people. So you got to update the marketing strategy. That does not mean you change all your core values. But I guess the question would be, what are your core values? I focus mostly on the policy. You know, no open borders, no drugs all over the country, following the rule of law, basic things like that. You understand? Low taxes, less government, basic things. Not to say, oh, you got to be a Christian and all this and that. Most people, quite honestly, don't even really follow the tenets of Christianity. They claim to be Christian. You know, I've, was raised up in Christian types of environments, but I never really identified as Christian. Maybe I did at one point, but I don't now. That doesn't mean I don't respect Christianity. I got to say this. I may not be Christian and I'm not gay. That doesn't mean that I can't get along with a Christian or a gay person. I don't have to be the same as somebody else to get along with them and work with them and be friends and everything else. I'm cool with everybody. As long as you cool, I'm cool. I'm going to be cool from the beginning, but if you are cool, then we get along. If you're not cool, then we can't get along. That's pretty much how I carry it. As long as you ain't doing nothing illegal, I'm cool. People said that Charlie Kirk was wrong for taking a picture with Lady Maga, who's like this, real big drag queen. I put a picture on the screen before you. Charlie Kirk is tall. He's taller than me. I'm 6'3". Charlie's taller than I am. This person had to have been probably about 6'7", 6'8". He was a real big dude, but he's a drag queen. People said that, oh, Charlie shouldn't have been in that picture. Well, first of all, it was a meet and greet. He stood in line with other people to take that picture, probably for 30 minutes, an hour, who knows how long. But beyond that, what if Charlie says, no, I don't want to do that? All that does is make him be with the left, think that we are on the right, hateful, intolerant, non-inclusive. All we're going to do at that point is just hemorrhage real people that actually are going to vote and push forward conservative ideologies in favor of the left taking the wheel and driving the entire country into the pit of flames. That's what's going to happen. So if you want to exclude people and not accept people because of little things that they do that you find somehow morally wrong, that aren't illegal or whatever, then go for it. All you're going to do is end up losing support in the end. Like I said, the left are going to continue to beat your head in on every policy point. Supreme Court justices, the president, local politics, national, global politics, all of that stuff is going to go by the wayside if you don't have any allies. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that I'm correct about the trolls that came to the Turning Point event and that have come to other Turning Point events, just not really helping the cause? You're talking about this racial stuff and this sexual stuff. What is it really going to do to help? I got to say one thing about people saying that Turning Point engages in identity politics and that we preach against that, and why are we doing it? I don't think it's the same thing. And I'll explain, give you a brief story, and then I continue wrapping up. When I was in Politicon over the weekend, I was at a panel where they were talking about guns and safety in schools. The entire panel was white. I don't care about that, but it's important, and I'll explain. Towards the end, they're trying to make their arguments about, pro or anti-gun. One guy, white guy on stage, says that, oh, well, the black community, they generally want more gun control. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm right there front row and center. He can see me. He can look dead at me. I'm a pretty big dude. Have on, something that I got like a light blazer on so you can see me. I give him a big thumbs down, like, nope, we're not going to do that. And then he pretty much stopped him in his tracks. He couldn't really say too much more. He had to abandon that argument. And then there was somebody else in the crowd that was black who said a similar thing to me. Okay. So once you have that to combat that type of rhetoric, it kills the argument. Now, once the argument is dead, we're able to talk about real substantive things, real policy, and go forward from there. But you got to kill the argument first. I guess easy way to sum it up would be don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Win the gunfight, and then you can talk about real policy and you can progress forward. But if you keep getting beat in the head over and over again with no resistance, you won't be able to get anything done. If you don't have any allies, you can't get anything done. Or am I wrong here? Should we just exclude people, continue to get our head beat in by the left by not fighting back at all, and just watch as a country falls into the pit of despair? We could keep crying about what we want and talking and trolling, but when it really boils down to it, we're not getting anything done. Is that what we should do? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.